What is going on, everybody? Good morning here. It is Saturday morning, which means we have some football to get going through here. So, let me hold on one second. For some reason, it will not let me log in. So let's go ahead and do that so I can control the whole stream, because that would be very bad if I could not. Such professionalism. Okay. Logging in there. All right. Sorry for that delay. So ridiculous. All right. So, it is Saturday morning. We're doing what we always do here. We are going to be going through our auto picks. My God. We are going to be going through our picks today for Sunday's slate of games. We might do a college one depending on the timing here, but we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. But first and foremost, as always, we want to thank our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is obviously the sponsor of this video. It is a great fantasy site, and if you use my promo code TJS, first-time customers get a bonus. If they play $5, they get 50 bonus funds to play with on Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you have checked to see if Underdog is available in your state, as it's available in most of them, but go ahead, check it out, come play along with us, and always play responsibly. Only play with what you can lose. Thank you so much again to Underdog Fantasy for the sponsorship, and let's go ahead and jump right into the picks, because that's what we're all here for. So let's go ahead, what we always do, gonna jump over to this NFL slate here. There we go. Don't know why the internet's so slow today. All right, we're going to collapse everything. There we go. All right, so we'll start in Green Bay. There we go. Green Bay and Cleveland. I like Josh Jacobs to get a touchdown. He's been doing very well with the Packers. He's been scoring a lot. Did he score last week? Yes, he did. So he has been continuously scoring for this team. I forget what his streak's on, but I see that continuing here against the Browns, who are a team that they have a good defense. I can't deny they do have a good defense, but not enough to warrant me not to select Josh Jacobs to get in the end zone today. I just think that's the best bet here. Jerome Ford not touching because Judkins is now in the mix, so we have no idea. Like, even they're kind of confused. So let's see. What has his receptions been? Okay. Last week with Judkins, he got 23, but again, I'm not really into that risk. David Njoku, on the other hand, is somebody I find very interesting in this game. He's got 34.5 receiving yards, higher or lower. Last 2 weeks, he's overdone that. Joe Flacco likes to use his tight end, so I like this one right here. I think him getting 35 yards could be, honestly, one of the easier decisions here because, again, like I said, Joe Flacco likes to use his tight ends, so we're going to go with that one. Judy's another one I've always kind of been off and on. Obviously, he's hit the projection the last 2 weeks. He's got 66 and 51, but he's going against the Packers, and I don't know. It's a tough decision. If I'm going to take Judy, I'm going to take that higher at 47.5. I think that is realistic. Again, I don't think the Browns are going to win this game, but I think they could move the chains a bit here and get some downs, get some yardage, get some points for their team. So let's see who else is in this game. What has Jordan Love done passing-wise? 292 and 188. Again, I think this game could get out of control quick. So 225, even though it seems low for somebody like Jordan Love, I could see them relying a lot more here on Josh Jacobs, getting him the ball more, getting it into the end zone that way, moving downfield that way. So I don't really love Jordan Love at 225 yards. Sorry, it's early. Let me get some energy in me. All right. Did I miss Joe? Or did they not even make one for Joe? There he is. So Joe Flacco was taken out of the game last week because he performed so poorly. Week 1 against Cincinnati, he had 290. Last week, he had 199. So they're not insane. They're not insane numbers here that we're talking. So let me just see real quick. going to pull up a couple stats here. Again, should have had this ready, but I apologize. So if anyone's watching this, thank you for sticking with me in this moment. There we go. So the Packers have, I can go over now that I'm here. There we go. The Packers have the 10th ranked passing defense. They've allowed 189 yards on average a game. Now, with that, I think they can hold Joe Flacco, especially since he's already on a short leash. He's on a short leash. He did not perform very well to the point where I don't see it being unreasonable to expect him not to hit that yardage. So again, he's not my favorite pick of the week. He's not one that I'm going to for sure put into this build, but I like to look at 4 players per game, kind of get an idea to build those tickets. Now, this week we are going to be doing something a little bit different here because we tried to hit home runs last week. We tried to hit, the 8-6 player tickets to get that big payout. This week we're going to do a little bit different, just to kind of build up the bankroll again, because that's the main goal, is to build the bankroll, especially early on in the season, so you can get that money and then play bigger, bigger tickets, win more money. That's the idea here. So that is something we're going to be doing today, but those are the 4 I like right here between Josh Jacobs, Njoku, Jerry Jeudy, and Joe Flacco for tomorrow in that game. So let's go ahead and jump into Indianapolis, Tennessee. First one that sticks out to me is Jonathan Taylor, obviously, because let's go ahead and jump over to the Titans defense, and we'll go strictly rushing. They give 150 yards on average. 150 yards on average. So let's see what JT's done the last few weeks. 71, 165. I think it's a pretty safe assumption that they could rely on him a lot and get those yards. I like a touchdown as well. Again, Titans have given up, I think it says here, like 3 rushing touchdowns on the year. So they at least give up 1 a game so far. Sorry, I'm going to move that one over there so I stop clicking on it. So I like either one. If you're feeling a bit riskier, that could be the play. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's one of those things. I like this one. I like the 88.5 rushing yards. I think they can definitely do that. No problem. Now, let's look at the Colts. I did the damn thing again. Let's look at the Colts rush defense. They're ranked 12th, and they've only given up 98 yards. So when you look at the opposite here on Tony Pollard, he's had 2 games where it's been pretty decent. Because let's see what the Rams were. Let's see what the Rams defense is ranked here. They're ranked 17th, and they've allowed 111. So a little bit worse. The reason I like this one a little bit better is because I think that the Colts defense is better. I think the Colts could win the South. I think the Colts could go to the divisional round. I think they can go to the championship. They look like a great team. So I think they're going to lock this down. They're going to lock down Tony Pollard. They're going to lock down the run. And they're going to be able to outscore this game very easily. Danny Dimes is another one. I like it. Give me the higher on his passing yards, because let's see what he's done the last few weeks. 316, 272, and he's only at 212. 212. He's literally outdone both. He's outdone his projection in both games so far. So yeah, I'm going to take the higher on that too. No problem. Now, let's see what Tyler Warren's status is, because I did not see if he practiced yesterday. He's still questionable. He was limited, though, so yeah, I'm not going to touch Tyler, because the thing about Underdog is they lock the picks in, and they will cancel the picks if they're hurt. So I don't want to do that necessarily. So I would love Tyler Warren at 46.5 in this game, but if you're making this on Sunday after, some injury reports have come out and he's playing, I like him a lot. But since we're here with the information we have a day early, we're going to be playing it safe because, again, the name of the game is winning money. I don't like Calvin Ridley at 50.5 because, again, I think the Titans are going to be passing a lot in this game, so I don't want to touch that one. Where is Cameron? There is Cam. Again, a kid with a lot of talent. I think he is going to lead the Titans into some form of being decent in the next few years. It's just the Titans themselves need to get better. Like, if you look at the Texans, C.J. Stroud had a great rookie year, but the problem is that they didn't have an offensive line. He still performed well his rookie year, but year 2 and year 3, you can see the problems of not building around CJ. They've given him weapons as far as wide receiver and stuff like that, but he's got no offensive line, and it shows. Titans need to do the same thing about Cam Ward. They need to start protecting this kid as much as possible. Anyway, I digress. The number here is 30.5 passing attempts, because, again, I think they're going to be down a lot in this game, and they're going to need to throw the ball. Cam's done this once already last week against the Rams, who are a better team. He almost did it against the Broncos, who, again, are a much better team. So I like this right here because I think they're going to be passing a lot. I think they're going to be down. I think they're going to be needing to throw. The whole reason I don't want Calvin Ridley this week is because I think they're going to be throwing a lot. So those are my 4 right here. And JT, Tony Pollard, Daniel Jones, and Cam Ward. Those are the 4 I'm looking at. So, again, not making a decision quite yet. Just, going through the matchups I like, seeing what I like, and then we'll build a ticket after this. All right. Atlanta, Carolina. I mean, that's the most obvious one. The offense runs through them. They're a bad team. In the Panthers, not the Falcons. The Panthers are a bad team. They're in this situation. They're going to rely on Bijan, so I'm going to just go ahead, go with it, go with my gut. I think he's getting in the end zone, and I think it could be a long one. I really think it could be a long one. I love this kid. I really do. He's hit both of those, no problem. Atlanta has some weakness in the pass defense. I think the higher at 64 yards is all he's got to get. He's Bryce Young's favorite target. I don't see a problem with that one whatsoever. Let's see. This is the one game where I'm hesitant, but I do want to take Kyle Pitts here. The Panthers have one of the worst defenses when it comes to tight ends. So let's jump over to this one. That's why, what the hell? Oh, Best Buy. Of course, didn't do it right. Okay. So let me go ahead. Let me find what I'm looking for again real quick. Because, again, professionalism here. Hooray. Can you tell this is only like my 3rd live stream for you? Or 2nd, actually. So, okay. Don't know what's going on. Okay. Either way. I can't find what I was looking at earlier, but the Panthers give up the most points to tight ends. They do. So they can't cover them. They can't really do anything about it. So I'm going to jam Kyle Pitts all day here at 40 yards. So let's see what he's done with Michael Penix here. 59-37. So he's right in that ballpark, again, against a very bad defense against tight ends. I like this one all day. I have him in fantasy. It's a league where interceptions and fumbles don't count, so I don't mind having him in that league. But this is a question mark. I want to take the higher because, again, the defense isn't great, but they're not horrible. So, yeah, it's one of those things. Again, it's not my favorite pick of the slate, but if I'm going through if I'm trying to pick the 4 through each game, that's the one I'm looking at. So that's what I'm looking at for that game right there. These are the 4 I'm looking at. Again, I don't feel great about the Bryce Young pick, but the other three I feel pretty sure about. I like all three of those to the point where I'm not even going to wait. Let's get Bryce out of there. I'm not even going to wait. This is going to be one of my smaller tickets to build up the payroll. So, those are my three right there for a quick one. Bijan, Tet, Kyle. Okay. Now let's jump into the Rams-Philly. They've locked the Saquon. Let's refresh real quick. Locking the Saquon pick is ballsy. There we go. Odds were just changing. I don't want to touch Saquon this week. Because if you look at the Rams' run defense, they've given up 111 yards. But the running backs that they've actually stopped have actually been okay. Saquon is the guy, but I don't know. I don't want to touch him because I don't trust it this week. I don't trust it. I do trust that. That almost feels like a guarantee every week at this point with the tush push. All they got to do is get close. So I like Jalen Hurts getting that touchdown. Not crazy to me. Again, not my favorite. Again, out of the games so far, this is the one matchup that I don't love because both teams are so good. And when both teams are so good, it's hard to tell. It's hard to get that idea of what you're looking for. Well, not what you're looking for, but what you're looking at when it comes to the matchup. Because you have Saquon Barkley, who's one of the best running backs in the league, but he could easily be shut down by a good Rams defense. So it's one of those situations where normally, under normal circumstances, I will skip matchups because I hate them. I don't want to play them. I don't want to get the money in there. But in this situation, I'm trying to look at matchups in case you guys are having some gut feelings about certain people. I want to give you my opinion and maybe that'll help you out. But in all honesty, there's nothing here I love. Outside of the Hurts touchdown, there's nothing here I love. So I'm going to skip this matchup because, again, Hurts is the only one that I'm really like, yeah, I like. So I'm not going to try to convince myself otherwise. I'm skipping that matchup altogether. Going into Cincinnati, Minneapolis. I cannot speak this morning. I apologize. Going into Cincinnati at Minneapolis, Chase Brown here and getting those rushing yards. With Joe Burrow being out, they're going to have to rely on these running backs, these wide receivers, who can actually get them back into games and lead them to games. Granted, God, I'm disgusting. I apologize. Granted, he has not hit this projection either time playing Cleveland or Jacksonville. However, they're going to have to rely on him a lot more. So I'm going to take that higher this week. I'm going to trust the system. I'm going to trust the process. It's not my favorite pick, but it is one that I'm like, I kind of have faith in this situation. Now, Jamar Chase, taking the higher on yards. Even when Browning got in the game, he still relied on Chase. Chase is able to get the ball. He makes their team better. He makes that offense better. So I'm not afraid of that one. Where I am afraid is Jay Jetta. Carson Wentz is going to be his quarterback. I don't know how you feel about that because I don't love it. But at the same time, he's got NFL experience. He knows how to feed players. And going against the Bengals defense, and let's just see what their passing defense looks like here. I really wish I could find the one thing I had because it was showing them by position, and that's where I was loving it. So bear with me here. Bengals pass defense has allowed 269 yards. I think you got to do it. You have to do it at this point. You've got to take that chance with Justin Jefferson, with Carson Wentz, and see what delivers. See what happens here. Mason is another one I'm interested in. He's good. He's so good. But last week was a dud. He only had 9 attempts. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it as much as I thought I did. And let's see. Do they have the last time he actually threw a ball? Okay, he kind of threw a ball a little bit. And they had to do him so dirty. Why is his picture this low? Look at. Just for that, let's go. Let's take the higher. They're doing Carson dirty. I like it. Let's just take the higher because, again, Bengals have bad pass defense. Carson has experience, so this is a backup bowl here. It's not the ideal game, but I like it because it could be a shootout because, you know, both teams are suffering losses. I want to get in on that one. All right, scrolling back up here. Let's go ahead and jump into Pittsburgh at New England. I like both of these running backs, and that's the problem. At some point, Henderson is going to have to take over that lead back role. He is too talented. He is not, you know, a back who should be ignored, especially when you draft him that high. Stevenson, on the other hand, he's been putting up numbers to justify him keeping his job. Let's just look what he did last week. 54 and then 88 reception yards. I mean, he does both. And then if you look at Henderson, not as promising. And Pittsburgh does not perform well against the running back. So let's just see what we're looking at here. I don't think that's crazy. I really don't think that's crazy for Stevenson. Again, Pittsburgh struggles with the run. So I'm going to go ahead and trust Ramondre in this situation and take my chances here. I like Jaylen Warren. Again, he catches the ball. He does well. I don't think that's crazy either. Can't even see the heart here. There you go. Okay. He's got to eventually break out. He's had okay games, but he's got to have that game where he just goes absolutely nuts. And I think that could be today. Or tomorrow, rather. I like Drake May getting those passing yards. I don't think that one's too out of reach either. Where is Aaron? Rodgers is the only one that's a big question mark for me because I like the numbers. You know, his passing yards are right on the money, and I think he's going to go lower. Because, again, he's played Seattle and New York. New York's got a good defense, but they've not been great. They let him come back in that game, and even then, he barely overthrew what he was projected to do. So I kind of like Aaron Rodgers going lower on this one, but that's just where I'm at. Again, this is one of those matchups where it could be an absolute dogfight or it could be an absolute sludge fest, and I don't know where I'm leaning towards, but those are the four I'm liking in that matchup. Bucky getting a touchdown in the Jets-Tampa Bay just seems like it's going to happen. Tampa Bay is a very good team this year. They've been able to do things that other people just didn't think they'd be able to do. So I want to take Bucky at this point. They've been able to run with him. He's been a surprise out of Oregon to the point where Rachaad White is no longer the guy. He caught one in week 1, did not get one against the Texans, but he had a dominant day running the ball and catching the ball. I think he gets in the end zone this week against a Jets defense whose strength is more their passing defense rather than their rushing. So I like Bucky getting the end zone here. This man, I don't know what's going on. Can't break over 60, and he's going against a Jets defense that will have Sauce Gardner guarding him. They're covering him. Why would I not try to take the lower here? Especially when playing against lesser cornerbacks, he has not been able to do the same. Well, outside of Derek Stingley Jr., because Derek Stingley Jr. I think is better. But if you look at him against Texans, this is probably going to be similar production here. 56 yards. Because cornerbacks are that good. Yeah, he had 11 targets, but still. Now I'm second guessing myself. 8.5 targets, because he's done that. I like both here. I like getting the 5.5 receptions at higher, and I like the receiving yards at lower. So it's more about what you're feeling. Because right now, I think that is way more of a surefire assumption given his production, but it's the targets that scare me. Because if a few of those go his way, he crushes that number. But Sauce is probably going to be hovering. So yeah, I like the lower. I'm going to stick with the lower. That's what my gut's telling me. Sticking with that, not going to question it. Now, this man has been a surprise. He has done very well for the Jets when I wanted to avoid him altogether because I had him last year and it wasn't great. Now, he got 50 yards against Buffalo, but Tampa Bay is not Buffalo. Getting 18 more yards on a team where he's going to be the primary target. They're probably going to be behind against Tampa Bay. So I like this way more than a lot of other options. I'm gutsy on this one. I feel very gutsy because they throw the ball. They do. He's done it every single game so far. So they are a passing first offense. And I know I just said that the reason that I'm afraid of Mike Evans is because how good their defense is and everything like that. But obviously I can't make this pick if I want to, just because of the locking here, which I think is dumb. I'm saying he's going to pass it and he's going to receive it. What? Dumb. But I like this pick. So if you're not going to take the Bucky option, I like the passing TDs at 1.5 for Baker Mayfield. Let's see what else he's got here. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at here because he hasn't hit the yards against a good defense. So yeah, I'll take the low. If I'm going to do anything, if I'm really like, I want Baker, I'm going with the passing yards. Being lower against a very good Jets defense. So those are the 4 that I'm feeling here for this matchup. Houston, Jacksonville. This is the game that I think is going to be the Texans, like, start of their season. They're going to get a lot of issues that they have figured out. I want Nico for that touchdown. Hands down, I want him for that touchdown. I also want ETN. Texans don't stop the run very well. And it's 72.5 rushing and receiving. I like him for that because let's look at his numbers. 18-13, 143-71. He's done that every single game. Hands down, I'm taking this. He is their best weapon against a Texans team who can't stop the run. Meant to do that. There we go. Now, this is a man that I am afraid of because he has not performed the way that a first or second round pick is supposed to perform. 11 yards, 49 yards. Problem is the targets keep going up. So in this one, I don't want to take something that is this difficult in deciding. Now, if they gave me targets as an option, I'd be all over Brian. Brian's obviously, they're trying to get him the ball. There's no question about that. They're definitely trying to get him the ball. The issue with Brian this week is he's got Derek Stingley Jr. and Lassiter. So I'm not loving the matchup. I'm not loving the fact that he hasn't done anything this year. Even though they're trying to feed him, they haven't done anything with him this year. Do you have trust in him that week 3 that this is going to be the week that he breaks out and does what he needs to do? It's tough to say. If I'm doing that, I'm going lower. I don't love the matchup. But this is the problem. Being a Texans fan, this is the week he's going to go off. He's going to go off. So if that's going to affect your judgment, just let you know that now. I'm letting you know that now. He's probably going to go off because he's going against the Texans and it's going to fuck me over. So there we are with that. But if I'm trusting my gut, that's what I think that's the safest bet. This is a gamble, but it's a gamble I'm willing to take. The man is coming back. He sat out the last 2 weeks due to injury. He has been good over his career, but not great. The reason I have more faith in him this week is because he's going to take they're going to have to put a lot of pressure on Nico. Nico got the touchdown last week. Nico's the favorite target. Nico's got the chemistry with CJ. And Kirk's first game, they have no idea what they're going to do with him. He's going to play out of the slot. CJ likes to throw out of the slot. Tank Dell was a good slot receiver as well as an outside option. Kirk is kind of the same thing. So I think this is really going to be a situation where they have no idea what to do with Christian Kirk, and he's going to easily blow past the 37.5 yards. That's my gut feeling on it, to the point where it might be my favorite play of the slate just because it's all about the unknown at that point. Being such a low number at 37.5 for a slot receiver who can get upfield the way Kirk does, I think that's a great play, in my opinion, personally. But again, you got to do what you feel is right. Moving into Washington and Vegas. Terry needs a breakout game. And I think this is it. Even if Jaden Daniels is out, because I think he is, because they're putting Marcus on here, so Jaden's out. I have no problem believing in Terry McLaurin because Mariota's going to have to feed somebody. He's going to have to feed a reliable target, do what needs to be done. So I don't think that feeding Terry is that big of an ask from the Commanders for Mariota. And again, Mariota's an experienced backup. He's somebody who is able to do what needs to be done in those short situations. He's not a every game starter, but at least for a backup, he should be able to, get the job done. And I have no fears about him feeding Terry McLaurin to get Terry that breakout game he needs. Now, I'm talking about the Commanders here because they've given up 104 yards, but only one touchdown. Genty has been a disappointment for most. Looking at his numbers, 43, 38, 1 TD, 2 yards, 1 yard. For a guy who was putting up 200 yards in college, that is not the ideal situation. He hasn't even hit this number yet. So it's hard to really go, he's going to do this. But at some point, he's going to have to break out, right? I don't know. But either way, I'm taking the lower here only for one reason. If you saw that footage of him trying to pass block and letting the guy just run by him and literally look confused and not give that second effort, they're going to take snaps away from him at some point. I think that could start this week. So I think he's going to get less touches, especially when Zamir White was still in the game at certain points last week. So they don't quite have the faith in Genty, I think, that they need to, and they're going to let him keep kind of developing a little bit more. So I'm going to take the lower there. Now, this man is the Raiders' offense. He is by far the best tight end they've seen in a while. Against the Chargers, they struggled, but I don't have a fear here. He is Geno's target. I'm going with those yards. I also like Debo in this match. I really do. I like both receivers. I think Mariota can easily get 91 yards between the two of them. So those are my 4 for this matchup because, again, it's not my favorite matchup on the slate. They're both teams that are kind of good, kind of bad, kind of big question marks, but these 4 I feel like are the ones that I can definitely trust in. Okay. Now moving on to the afternoon slate, starting with Denver and the Chargers. This guy has been the surprise of the season for the Broncos. When they drafted Harvey, I thought he was going to be that guy. J.K. Dobbins was older, not really too afraid of what's going to happen there. I'm completely wrong. He has been a stud for the Broncos. He has been their starting back for the Broncos every single week. He's dominated the backfield touches right there. So again, 50 yards on the fact that he's already done 63 and 76. I have no problem inserting that right there. Yes, the Chargers are a better run defense. Can't deny it, but what you want here is the opportunity because all you need him to do is break one good run in that situation. If he breaks a 30, 40-yarder, that's basically going to be a hit. So I don't hate it, but the only thing that strikes fear in me is the Chargers have the 8th best run defense. So that's scary, but again, it's only 50 yards. One good break, and he's probably got that. With the amount of touches he gets, he needs one good long run, and he's got that. Speaking of disappointments, Amari and Hampton. It's not his fault. They're not utilizing him the right way. I drafted him. I don't regret it because I think eventually he's going to have to break out in the situation. And this could definitely be the week, but it probably won't be. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, sorry. So yeah, Hampton has been a disappointment. I want every piece of him because eventually I think he's going to break out. Do I think it's this game? No. Denver has a very good defense. Very, very, very good defense. Now, the problem is he's got to break out eventually. 41 rushing yards does not seem insane. I'll take the chance. I'll take the chance on him. He's going to have to break out. And just like Dobbins, he just needs one good run here to get 41. Because how many touches has he gotten? Because that's the other issue. 8 attempts, 15 attempts. On 8 attempts, 24. I don't love it, but if I'm going to, that's the one I'm trusting. Just because, again, he's going to have to break out at some point, one way or the other. Ladd McConkey had a disappointing week last week. There's no way to sugarcoat it. But he's still getting targeted. He's still going to be that guy that they look at. The only thing that has me scared is that who is Surtain going to cover? Is it going to be McConkey or is it going to be Quentin? Because if it's Quentin, I love McConkey. If Quentin's uncovered, I want that. I want that all day and remove that. So that's the big question is who's covering who? Or is it going to be a roving situation? But either way, I like Quentin more than I like Ladd McConkey just because Quentin seems to be having a renaissance season. It seems to be the reason they drafted him is showing up this season. 42.5 yards, something that he's done every single week already. I'm going to take it. No problems there. The other one I want. Did I miss Bo? Or is Bo out too? Oh, no, there he is. Jesus, passed him. Okay. Bo Nix. Look at his numbers. 176, 206. He's a good quarterback. He's just not performing in all cylinders. Let's just say that. With that said, though, I like him to get 2 touchdowns in this game. I think this is going to be a good old AFC West rivalry game where they just try to outdo each other and run up the score. And I think Bo Nix is going to be that guy who gets it done. I think he gets 2 touchdowns. 1 to Troy Franklin. I'm calling that one. The other could be a big question mark, but I really like him getting in the end zone twice this week through the air. So let's go ahead and remove our boys here. Moving on to New Orleans and Seattle. He has not been performing well. I can't deny it. Last week was a better game for him, getting 105 yards, but, week 1, a lot of questions. Charbonnet was looking like the guy. But now, Kenneth has established himself as that RB1 after last week and going against a Saints team who is terrible. I don't see him having an issue getting to 79 yards. I really don't. Alvin Kamara. Alvin is somebody I've always rooted for, but he's on a very bad team. He is on a very bad team. However, I think he can do that. He is their main option. Seattle's not to the point where it's like completely, oh my God, we can't do this. But they're better than, expected. So I would take Alvin. I always want to say Kamara with Alvin. So I'm going to take Kamara there. I'm also going to take JSN here. This could be a very ugly day for the Saints, and I don't love it. The other one that I'm taking is Juwan Johnson. I know it seems crazy. He's not a big name. He's not a guy who has consistently gotten the end zone, but look at his target share. His target share is so nice, getting 11 and 9, almost double digits in the first 2 weeks. With how the Saints are performing, I think this one is, I don't want to say the safest, but it's not crazy, especially for almost a 2% increase in the ticket. So those are my 4 for this game. So we're going to X out there and move on into Dallas and Chicago. Oh, they're updating CDs. So let's refresh to see what CD just got. Any day now. Okay. I love CD. Targets are there. That's what I'm going with. Cowboys need to establish their dominance. They need to establish the fact that they're the Dallas Cowboys and not what they've been putting out on the field, essentially. So this could be a game, a get-right game, where they want to just kick the hell out of the Bears. So feeding CD is not crazy to me. He's already done it both weeks, so I'm really hoping that doesn't change this week, but we'll see. Been hearing a lot of chatter that this is a George Pickens breakout game. So let's ride with it. 55 yards against a bad Bears team. I don't really need to talk more about it. That's basically it. Now, this man took him in fantasy, had some faith in him, and he is not disappointed. He is getting the target share. At 7.5, only 7.5 when he's done that every single week? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Why can't I not heart it? Just heart it. Thank you. And if I'm going to be riding the receivers thinking that they're doing all this, why am I not going to ride the quarterback? Why am I not going to... I just saw him. Where'd he go? There he is. Looking at his stats. 188 against Philadelphia. Horrible. But then against the Giants, went absolutely off. I think this is going to be closer to the Giants game rather than the Eagles game. With that said, though, 266 is a large number. A very large number. But I'll take it. I'm feeling risky. I'm feeling risky and frisky. So 266 is a large number, but I don't see it being out of control. I don't see it being unachievable. And I think this could definitely be a ticket. Again, it's not my favorite pick out of this entire day, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it, so we'll ride with it. We'll stick with it. See what happens on that one. Moving on to Arizona and San Francisco. Christian McCaffrey, he is their offense. He is. He gets 100 yards a game. 112 is his benchmark this week. Don't see that being an issue. I really don't. Especially against the Cardinals, who struggle. I don't hate it. I'm going to take the lower on rushing and receiving for James Conner here because I have him as a bench this week in my Rider Pine, so he's riding that Pine pony, and it's just he has not gotten anywhere near that. Especially against two horrible teams in the Saints and the Panthers, and that's all he was able to do. 12 touches for 39 and 11 for 34, 4 receptions for 5 yards and 1 reception for 18. Like, he's not doing what he needs to do. If it wasn't for his touchdowns, his fantasy numbers would be god-awful. So he's 70.5 rushing is a lot to ask against the San Francisco 49ers team, who does very well against a running back. So I don't love it. The guy that I'm obsessed with this season has been Marvin Harrison Jr. I just think this kid is due for a big season. Granted, last week against the Panthers, a bad team again, he didn't do great. But I'm willing to take that risk for 47.5 yards. I don't love Kyler. I like Kyler, but I don't love him. He's my quarterback on one team, but again, certain situations call for him to be that good of a quarterback. So I'm rambling. The point is that I don't love Murray, but I think he can get the job done against a division rival, especially in San Francisco. The noise in that stadium gets completely lifted out, so I don't see them struggling too much. Dealing with crowd noise, dealing with the issues they have. I only see the issue being how much time Kyler gets to throw. He seems like he's been running for his life this season more than usual, so the main question is going to be, does he have that time to deliver that ball? I think he will. I think 50 yards for 50 yards for Marvin Harrison is not unreasonable. And speaking of Kyler, looking at his numbers, 221, 63, 2 touchdowns, 1 touchdown. They expect him to get 214. That's too close for me. Rushing yards is 30, and he's done that both times. This is the more realistic option if you're going with Kyler Murray. He uses his legs. That's his main, it's not like a Lamar Jackson or a Josh Allen where they do big, long runs like that, but he uses his legs to get out of trouble every single week. 30 yards, which is what he's done both weeks already against, again, terrible teams, against a better team, a better pass rush where he's going to, like I said, he's been running for his life. If he's running for his life, he's going to have to break out and get those yards. So I think, why did it go to passing attempts? Did I click passing attempts by like an idiot? There we go. 28.5 rushing yards. That's all he's looking for. He's done that every single week already. So I'm going to trust that more than anything. These are honestly 4 that I really like. So again, going for it. Trying to build a bankroll. Putting those 4 in. Okay. So now that we have that game in, moving to the Sunday night Chiefs-Giants game. This is another one I don't love. I'm not even going to lie. I don't even think I'm going to do a Sunday night game because the Giants have been a big freaking question mark this entire season. One game they look terrible. One game they look like they're contenders. Is this going to carry over into against a team like the Chiefs who are dominant? No, I don't know. I don't see it. And the Chiefs have looked like they've struggled a little bit too. So I don't love that either. I'm not looking at this as a home run situation. I'm not looking at this as something that is going to... I have a lot of faith in. So when I don't have faith in something, I skip the game. It's not worth it. I'm kind of feeling the same here about Detroit and Baltimore. Baltimore looks great. Detroit has been shaky, but last week they looked much better. So I'm not loving either one of these situations. So that's basically what we're looking at for the NFL slate. So let's go back to our favorites. We've already put 2 smaller tickets in, so we will now do larger tickets. And since we are not doing a Sunday, Monday night game due to them not being, favorable matchups, we'll build a little college one after this. So let's go through everything. Love that. What did I have to Njoku? Was it receptions or targets? I look like an idiot. I think it was targets. Jerry Jeudy lower. I'm going to remove the Jeudy one. I don't love him. Not loving that situation, so we're not going to play that one. I'm not going to play Joe. Joe's another one where I'm not loving, so, okay. JT, we said higher. Tony Pollard, we said lower, right? But we'll do that one, because, yeah, let's see what his receiving was. Again, doing so many in a row, I'm like, what did I like and didn't like? There we go. Yeah. So take the lower on Pollard. We got 4 more picks. Daniel Jones, what was it? Passing yards, right? Because he's gone absolutely nuts every single week. Hitting that number, yeah. So we're taking passing yards there. What was Cam Ward's? Oh my God. No, it was lower. Was it passing yards? Yeah. Lower on the passing yards. Okay. And then we want the higher on Tet. Feel like that's solid. Flex it up. Okay. So now let's do the ones I'm most confident in. Tet was one. Bijan getting in the end zone was one. DJ getting that. JT getting that. Kyle Pitts getting that. Ramondre getting that. Okay. We need two more that I'm like 100% convinced. Oh, yeah. That one. And that one. Okay. Those are like I have the most faith in. So let's go there. And we'll do one more of high faith, and then we'll do a college one real quick. Absolutely. Absolutely. Two more, okay. It's so hard. It really is. Trying to figure this out. Where is my gut going? I like the Kirk. I really like the Kirk. Okay, one more. Let's go back to the top. Ones that I've already played. And again, you don't have to copy everything I'm doing here. This is your tickets. This is just what I'm thinking. You can take what I'm doing. You can change it a little bit. But that's kind of where I'm at. I think that's the one. So another 5. And that will be the Sunday slate. Now let's go ahead. We'll do a little college one just since we're not doing a Monday nighter. I wish there was a way to just unfavorite all these, but there's not. So let's just go ahead and just do all this. Now I'll be honest with you, college is not as much of a strong suit as the NFL for me, so we're just going to go through some of the matchups, the ones I like, and we're just going to pick 8 players. That's all we're going to do. All right, there we go. College football. Syracuse at Clemson. God. Not pretty. This is not pretty at all. I'll take it. I'll take it. I don't hate it. Okay, Texas Tech at Utah. Where's Oregon? Got to throw some Oregon State on here. Dante Moore. Big Oregon fan here, so this is biased as hell. I know it already. Okay, Northwestern, he only completed 178 yards. I don't like it. I don't like it, but I think I will take it. I'll take it. Okay. Oh my god, there's so many games. All right, let's go to that Texas Tech Utah game. Morton's been pretty good. Yeah, he's been, look at him, chucking the rock. So, wait a minute. I can get 259 passing and rushing yards or 262 passing yards. Wonder what I'm going to do here. Damn. Okay. Let's see what this kid's done. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. Okay, SMU TCU. Yeah. So Ohio State not playing this weekend? Okay, Ohio State's on a bye this week. All right, that makes sense. Is UCLA on here? Because I will take the under on I am Aliviava or whatever you say his name. Nope, he's not on. Okay. It's a bad slate here. ASU. Yeah, don't like that. Don't like that whatsoever. Florida and Miami. That'll be a fun game, actually. I'll take that. I think this will be actually a very good game. How's Carson been with Miami? Let's just see. Okay. Yeah, I'll take that. We need 3 more, and then we can put this ticket to bed. Washington State. Okay. Arch Manning, the disappointment. You know what? Just because they're playing a team where nobody else is on the other side of the ball, if he doesn't break out here, I'll label him a bust. I'll say it. Michigan State at SC. I really like this game a lot. What has he done with his legs? 10 and 5. Yeah, I'll take the passing yards. Okay. So those are going to be the 8 for me for college today to make today a little more interesting here. Nice little flex. And that'll do it. So let's go ahead. Let's check our tickets. So what we're looking for here is a Bijan touchdown, higher than 64 yards for Tet McMillan, and higher than 40 yards for Kyle Pitts. Then we're looking for higher than 113 rushing and receiving yards for Christian McCaffrey, lower than 70 yards for James Conner, higher than 48 yards for Marvin Harrison, and higher than 28.5 yards for Kyler Murray. Then we have Cam Ward lower. Yeah, you can see everything. I'm not going to go through each and every one, but this is what we're looking for, everyone. So all I'm going to say is I wish you all the best of luck this weekend. Have fun. Let me know how you did down in the comments. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Use my promo code TJS at Underdog Fantasy to play along in the action and have some fun. Again, good luck this weekend, and until the next one, have a good one.